Hi, welcome. We're excited to get to know you today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and maybe some of your education experience.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I recently completed my bachelor's degree in elementary education with the focus on early childhood and literacy. During my practicum in student teaching in kindergarten and first grade, I developed a passion for early learning. I love the way kindergarten blends structure, play, imagination, social emotional development, fundament, foundational academics, and relationship building. I'm entering my first year of teaching, but I bring a strong foundation, hands on experience, a growth mindset, and a genuine love for working with young children. I'm excited for the opportunity to grow, collaborate, and contribute to your campus.
Hey, well, let's just jump right in and start with some questions. I am Lori. I am the principal here at our school. It's so nice to see you today.
Nice to see you too.
So let's see. How do you establish routines and expectations at the beginning of the school year?
Well, I've learned through both coursework and hands-on practice that kindergartners need very clear, explicit, and consistent routines. During student teaching, I saw how powerful it is to teach routines the same way we teach academics. Model, practice, reinforce, revisit. During my first few weeks, I introduced routines in short chunks so students aren't really overwhelmed. For example, I'll model how to enter the classroom, how to unpack, how to sit on the carpet, how to use supplies, how to move through centers, and how to clean up. We practice each routine multiple times a day. I also incorporate visuals, picture cards, and positive narration to help kids understand what success really looks like. If a routine slips, I reteach it calmly. My goal is to build safe, predictable environment so students feel confident and capable.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
What strategies do you use to support behavior and self-regulation in a classroom?
Well, I think kindergartners need us to teach behavior, not just correct it. I focus heavily on building relationships, setting clear expectations, and reinforcing positive behavior. These are some things that I use visual supports, for example, rules, expectations, schedules. Another thing is calm down strategies like breathing, counting, or water breaks. Positive narration, and this is just an example, but just saying like I see Mateo using kind hands. Proactive routines that prevent behavior problems. Choice-based redirection, for example, you can sit by me or sit on the carpet, your choice. I also intentionally teach self-regulation, which I saw modeled beautifully in my student teaching classroom. We practiced breathing strategies, talked through emotions, and had short reset moments. My approach is to stay calm, consistent, and supportive so my students learn the skills they need to succeed.
Oh, that's really good. I like that.
Thank you.
Those are all things that, excuse me, that we require in our classrooms also. Having like a calm down reset area. So I'm glad that you have experience with that. So how do you build strong early literacy foundations like phonemic awareness and letter sound knowledge?
Kindergarten is the foundation of reading. In my practicum, I learned how to use structured literacy approach that emphasized phonemic awareness. phonetics, vocabulary, and meaningful practice. Sorry. My literacy instruction includes daily
Phonemic,
phonemic awareness warm-ups, explicit
phonics.
phonic lessons, hands-on practice, magnetic letters, whiteboards, skywriting, decodable readers that match the phonics, phonics skill, songs, chants, and movement to reinforce skills. Small group instruction tailored to student needs. I also know the importance of teaching the why, helping students understand how sounds blend to make words. I want students to feel empowered as they start to.
Yes. A why is super important for students to know when they're learning to read and getting those really good phonics skills. Next question. How do you differentiate instruction for beginners versus those early readers that you might have in a kindergarten classroom?
Differentiation begins with assessment. During student teaching, I assess students on letters, sounds, concepts of print, and
Phonemic.
phonemic awareness. I group students based on those results and create activities that match their skill levels. For example, for beginners, I did picture sorts, sound isolation games, letter ID practice, hands-on manipulatives, repeated routines for blending. For early readers, I did decodable text on at their level, fluency practice, writing with phonics patterns, comprehension questions, word, and lastly, word building activities. I learned that differentiation doesn't mean more work, it means appropriate support for every learner.
Very good. We do expect differentiation to happen um, on our campus, especially in kindergarten when you would have a wide level of students, a a variety of level of students. So, how do you structure and manage small group instruction? Or how have you, since you have never taught before, but maybe how you did that during your student teaching, or um, how what you saw that you really liked?
Small groups are essential in kindergarten. I plan to run guided readings or target phonics groups daily during our literacy block. Here's how I structure it. Students rotate through 3 to 4 centers while I meet with small groups. Centers are consistent so students know expectations. I use visual rotation board so students can follow independently. Lessons at my table are short, focused, and based on data, probably around 10 to 12 minutes each. During my practicum, I learned how important it is to build independence through routines, choice, and meaningful activities. When centers run smoothly, small groups are extremely effective.
During your student teaching time, were you able to start at the beginning of the school year and see how the teacher put all those practices, um, and the teaching of routines and procedures for centers and small groups into action? Were you able to?
Yeah,
Good. I'm glad you had that experience. So, what does a developmentally appropriate kindergarten classroom look like to you?
a developmentally appropriate kindergarten classroom for me is a warm and welcoming, organized, easy to navigate, playful and structured, and lastly, full of hands-on learning opportunities. I want my students to see their work on the walls, find materials independently, and feel confident exploring. My centers will include literacy, math, building, art, dramatic play, and sensory activities because kindergartners learn through movement, conversation, and exploration. The environment should promote curiosity, independence, and joy.
Perfect. Those are all things that we look for in our kindergarten classroom, in our kindergarten classrooms. How do you support social emotional learning development, like sharing, turn taking, and problem solving? So, how do you support that SEL development?
Well, SEL is a huge part of kindergarten. I teach it through things like modeling, morning meetings, stories, role play, guided conversation. Students practice how to express feelings, how to ask for a turn, how to join a group, and how to solve small problems. During student teaching, we use simple scripts like, for example, can I have a turn or done? Let's find the solution together. I feel blank when blank. SEL skills build independence and help the classroom run very smooth.
Good. We, as a campus, have a time at the beginning of the day called Nest. And during that time, we are able to, as an entire school, every classroom for the same 15 minutes, are teaching SEL strategies and having morning meetings so that students are able to have good support and development in their social emotional learning. Yes, it's something that's very important to us and that we make sure that every teacher has the resources that they need for that.
You did that when you were being a student teacher? Did your campus do that, or is this something new?
It's really something new within the last 5 years or so. I taught for a very long time, and so at the beginning, this was not SEL wasn't anything that we really discussed. And then just recently, it has been a very big thing in education, and so we've had to implement that time and provide resources for all of our teachers.
I would love to do that.
So we can move on. So, how do you build strong, positive communication with families?
Well, I communicate through things like weekly newsletters to give parents lots of information about what is happening in my classroom. Other things like daily parent square updates, positive phone calls early in the year for every student, quick text for small celebrations, a few each day, transparent conversations about progress, and mostly I emphasize that we are a team and that I want to partner with them to support their child. To make sure they know that their child is in a safe, loving, loving classroom and to check up on their learning.
Good. That is something that, uh, as a school, I expect from all of my teachers is to have a positive phone call within the first few days of school starting so that every parent starts out the school year with a positive rapport with the teacher. So, what kind of assessments do you use, and how do you use that data, or how would you use that data?
Well, in student teaching, I use a mix of formal and informal assessments, including ESGI. Another is running records, weather sound assessments, phonemic awareness checks, math fluency checks, observation notes. I use assessment data to form small groups, adjust whole group instruction, identify students who need intervention or enrichment, communicate progress with families, and lastly, track growth over time. Even as a new teacher, I'm very comfortable with using data to guide instruction.
Good. And here at our school, we have an instructional coach who helps all the teachers look at data and use that data to guide their instruction as the school year goes on. So, how would you collaborate with your team?
Well, just to start, I truly enjoy collaboration. During my practicum, I attended PLC meetings and grade level planning sessions where I learned how valuable shared ideas and data discussions really are. Some ways I collaborate by is coming very prepared, um, asking thoughtful questions, sharing materials, listening to experienced teachers, which is one of my favorite things to learn more, and lastly, contributing ideas with confidence, but being humble. As a first year teacher, I know teamwork is essential and I'm really eager to learn from others.
It's really good. Collaboration, especially your first year, I mean, even beyond, is very, very important. And I'm glad that that's something that you value.
Yes. Did it help you a lot? Your first year teaching?
Yes, it did. We, my first year and forever, and even now, I collaborate with people because I want to have ideas of I want to have the ideas of others around me. If teamwork, they say teamwork makes the dream work. That's really true. The more ideas that are presented, the better we're able to help students and get things done. So, can you tell me about a time that you had to support or a struggling student, or maybe you didn't specifically support a struggling student, but you saw someone else supporting a struggling teacher and how you might help a struggling student in your classroom?
Yeah, so actually I had to help a struggling student. During student teaching, I worked with a kindergarten student who struggled with letter sound. He knew only a few and it was frustrating during reading time and made it very difficult. But I wanted to help. I began giving him 5 minutes of targeted practices each day using four different things: magnetic letters, hand motions, picture cues, repetition, and quick wins. I also built his confidence by noticing small successes. By the end of my placement, he knew almost all of his letters and sounds and was starting to blend CVC words. That experience showed me the power of consistency, patience, and small group instruction. That's all.
During your student teaching, did you have any experience with um, the RTI or MTSS system of helping struggling students?
Yes, I did.
Uh, was that something that you were able to have input into students who might need help, or were you just able to observe that from the teacher whose classroom you are working in?
Well, kind of a bit of both. I did have an input in, and then sometimes I would just observe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
just
good.
depended.
I'm glad that you were able to have that experience. We also, so we have that process here of tier one, tier two, and tier three instruction. And we just like to make sure that we are able to help uh, all the students that need help.
I enjoyed that a lot.
So, can you tell me how we've talked about how you would help struggling learners and even those maybe beginner readers in your classroom, but how would you help those students who are much more advanced learners in a classroom?
I've had to work with a couple of those, and advanced learners deserve challenge and depth. I like to provide enrichment through 6 different things: higher level questions, more complex decodables, expanded writing tasks, problem solving challenges, research mini projects, and lastly, choice boards. Enrichment isn't about giving more work, it's about extending the thinking and keeping students engaged. Because sometimes, if they're learning stuff that all the other kids learning, or maybe someone who's more slowed down, it might just keep them on a block. And we want to make sure that they can grow, but not having a big workload.
Good. I noticed that you said more complex decodables at the school that you were doing your student teaching in. Did they have a like a room that full of decodables, or was the teacher challenged to find those decodables on their own?
Yes, we have that.
So y'all had a room and the teacher could just go to it and find the decodables for all levels of reading.
Very good.
Oh, okay, good. Here we have to, teachers have to usually find their own decodables, but our new curriculum um, that we're using has decodables with it. So it's a little easier. And also, our instructional coach is able to help and find decodables for students when they need more
Well,
stuff.
that sounds very nice. I'd love to be a part of that.
So, how do you approach sensitive conversations with parents?
Personally, my approach is honesty paired with empathy. I begin by sharing strengths, using specific examples. Then I discuss the concerns using data and observations, staying calm and child centered. I always come with these things, with po- possible solutions. like strategies I'm trying, the next steps we can take, and ways we can partner together to help the student. I want families to feel supported, not judged.
Oh, that's great. And two, whether you take a job here at our school or at another school, please know that your principal and assistant principal, counselor, like those people are admin. We are here to support and help with those kind of things also. And I know as a new teacher, sometimes that's scary having to have big, sensitive conversations with parents, but that we are here to help with that also. So, how do you incorporate purposeful play in kindergarten?
Well, play is essential for learning at this age. Purposeful play allows students to build language, problem solving skills, fine motor strengths, and concept knowledge. Examples of purposeful play I use are math games with manipulatives, dramatic play tied to vocabulary themes, fine motor tasks like tweezers, Play Doh, and beads, STEM building centers, sensory bins connected to literacy or math. I firmly believe students learn best when they're actively engaged in meaningful experiences.
And um, I know that our kindergarten teachers that we have here on our campus went to a very good um, conference over the summertime. Have you ever heard of Mr. Greg, the kindergarten teacher on the internet?
Yes, I have.
That is a conference that we send our kindergarten teachers to every other year. And so hopefully, when you're here, we would be able to um, get that for you also.
Sounds so exciting.
And it gives lots of, um, during the conference, there are a lot of things about purposeful play for kindergarten, and it's directly tied to things that you could do in a kindergarten classroom. Yes,
I'd love to see that. I'd
our
love
teachers,
to something like that.
our teachers really, really enjoy it. So, what are you working on in your professional growth?
Well, as a researcher, I'm committed to ongoing learning. Right now, I'm really focusing on strengthening my small group instruction, deepening my understanding of phonics and early literacy, improving classroom management strategies, creating engaging, developmentally appropriate center, and lastly, building strong parent partnerships. I love feedback. I'm always looking for ways to improve. I want it to be reflective and intentional in every single thing that I do.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask some questions about like situational questions. Okay. And
Okay.
about like what you might do in these situations. If you are teaching and a student begins to throw, I don't know, like what we call like throw a fit. and they are screaming and yelling, and you are trying to teach, what might you do?
Well, firstly, I would really help the student calm down. I've had an experience with this with a student throwing a chair at me. It was scary, but I just had to know getting really angry and mad or something like that is not going to help the child calm down. So I just helped him calm down, told him to take some deep breaths, pull him out of the classroom, and talk to him. When I pulled him out of the classroom, I told him to sit there for a bit to just cool off. Secondly, I went inside the class to call the AP. And then the AP came and took him. But I think it's best to call the AP when they're not around because that is something that will anger them and freak them out. So I always let them calm down right outside of the classroom where they can just breathe, not to talk to anyone, and mostly students aren't just looking at them because I feel like that's something that makes students mad when they're feeling judged. So I make sure that the student is not going to.
Hey, so you mentioned that you had a student who threw a chair at you. What would you do if a student was throwing a chair? Maybe not at you, but like at the other students.
Immediately tell them to stop and call the AP and get students out of the class because I don't want any other students to be endangered by the student throwing the chair.
Good. Hey, so that's good. You do have to get
Yeah, have you ever had an
this.
experience just like that?
Yes, we have. And
Really?
in kindergarten, it's especially hard because sometimes it's their kids' first time in school, in a school environment. They've always been with their parent at home, and now it's just different, and they have to learn how
Including
to
kids
be at
with no
school.
siblings, I've noticed, don't have much interactions with other children as much. And I see a lot of that in that. So I do keep that in huge consideration.
Good. So like in that situation, would you have the parent, would you want to call the parent, or would you prefer an assistant principal or the principal to call the parent in that situation?
Well, I would like to call the parent because I think that that's the smartest thing to do. And so it's coming from you and not someone else. So it shows that you really are in a teamwork to help their kid. Because by having someone else do it is showing you're just not stepping your responsibility up. So I would do it myself.
Hey, um,
What would you do?
I agree. I think the first time I would, as the teacher, want to call, and then if it continued to
Yeah,
happen, then I would say bring the parent in and let the assistant principal or the principal or even the counselor be in the parent conference with you.
I totally agree on that.
So, what are some things in that kind of situation that you would hope to figure out uh, ab- about the student whenever you're talking with parents or like when you have that conversation with the parent, you said you would want to call them on the phone. What are you wanting to um, do? Like what kind of, I'm sorry, this isn't really coming out the best way. What would you want to gain from that conversation?
I'd like to gain some insight on what the parent thinks. See maybe like if they explain what's something going on at home, something I can bring to the counselor, Because if there is stuff going on at home, we do have the counselors normally that can help the student. So I think that would work. Then I'd ask for what are some things that you do at home to calm down your child? If that's like timeout, what if that calms them down, or whatever it is, like a bathroom break, then I would just want to know so I can import that into my classroom to help the child. Because sometimes, including at this age, just throwing out new strategies to help with their calming down, then sometimes you just need what they have from home if it's accessible in the classroom.
Good. So, kind of back a little bit about just the kindergarten class. What do you think a typical kindergarten class day would look like?
Firstly, we do phonics first. Then we would gather up and everyone grabs their water, goes to recess to have some outside time so they're not just stored up in the classroom all day. I think recess is so important at that age. So we like to do it in the morning just to get everyone's bodies moving so they're not too tired because sometimes they come to school just exhausted. But so little kids like that, they can get their bodies warmed up. Then I'd like to bring them in and we'll do some writing because their brains are wide awake. And yeah. Then after is about the time we'd go to lunch. So they're getting another time to just calm their brains. Then right after lunch, we like to do recess. This allows the kids to get all that energy out and then we go back to class. Then I'd like to do some reading aloud. And then after that, we do some math. And then after math, we like to do centers, which the children really enjoy. Then after centers is normally the time we'd go to specials, which they also enjoy. Then after specials, we guide all the children in class, and it's time for them to go home.
Good. Um, in your typical day that you just talked about, you talked about two different recess times. Do you prefer recess in the morning and then you preferred recess in the like after lunch? Uh, how do you feel about ca- like having recess and then having to bring the kids back in and calm them back down in order to teach again?
Well, I really like to do that. I make sure everyone's calmed down before we start teaching again because I don't want, because sometimes when kids come in from recess, you know how they're loud, right? They just want to play more. So I just do some calm down strategies when I bring them in. Um, I always make sure to have like calming ambiance music in the classroom. That's just something that my student teacher would do my instructor would do when I came into class. Like they would go to recess, then he'd come back and she'd have some soft music playing, tell everyone to sit down. You can grab a snack, unless it had like red food dye, obviously. But they'd grab a snack, wind down, and we'll finish up what we're working on. And if we do
Oh,
indoor recess, same thing goes about. But I
oh,
really like just helping the kids wind down and be ready for class because we don't want chitter chatter and jumping around and Miss, can I do this? Miss, can I do this? Like, no, it's seated. And if you need to use the restroom, then, but we also actually, we do take a bathroom break right after recess too. So everyone can use the restroom and go to class and calm down. And I think recess really helps kids get energy out. So honestly, when they get to class, when they start winding down, they really do start to pay attention a lot more. And that's why I really like doing recess than coming to class
No.
because everyone's energy is down. Of course, it's going to be a little more skyrocketed right when they get to class, but when we wind everyone down, everyone's very tired.
That's
Well,
good.
not tired per se, but you know what I
Mhm.
mean.
Yes.
Not jumping off the walls.
Yes. Um, and for our last little bit, are there any resources that as a new um that you have learned about that you would like to really use in the classroom?
Yes, actually. Yes, I like to use UFly for reading. I really like it. I think I've seen so much improvement in kids reading in my classroom after starting the UFly. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Oh, okay. That is something that we have just started in the middle of October. We kind of started to use that, but not all teachers use it. So we're going to have lots of training this summer for, and then we'll be fully implementing in the next school year.
Cool. So some of your students have already experienced using it.
Yes.
So how are they liking it?
Oh, I believe they really like it, and we have seen our test scores go up.
Amazing. That was just like my other campus I was student teaching at. The teachers just loved using it so much, and I definitely did too.
Good. So, uh, I really thank you so much for being here today and for sharing with us. Um, was your student teaching a year-long program where you stayed with one class for an entire school year, or was it where you were only did student teaching for a semester, or two different classrooms, like in the fall semester you were in kindergarten, and in the spring semester you were in first grade?
Oh, we did do a 2 semester of one in each. So I did do kindergarten my first semester. Then my next semester I did first grade.
Oh, okay. So, do you have um, any final thoughts?
Yes. Thank you. I truly believe kindergarten is such a special year. Children learn how to be students, how to work with others, and how to love learning. I would be honored to begin my teaching career here and contribute to your school community. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today.
It was nice to meet with you too. Um, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, so what's the mentor look like? How's the mentor?
Oh, okay. So we do have a mentor program for first year teachers. A teacher is assigned to you, and they would work specifically with you, meeting one-on-one with you. And we like to have that person paired with you in your grade level. So it would be another teacher on your grade level team who could help you and answer questions for you that you need. Also, this person would be your mentor your first and your second year of teaching so that you always have someone to go to whenever you need to ask questions or have extra stuff for that. Do you have any other questions?
Um, So what would the number of students in the classrooms typically look like?
Well, right now we have between 19 and 21 students in kindergarten
Okay,
classes.
bad number.
Um, Next year, which is why we are interviewing, we're projecting to have um, six, we're going from five to six kindergarten
Uh-huh.
classes with 20 students in each class.
Okay.
Okay, well, we will be doing a few more interviews and then we will be getting back to you about I will call you whether we offer you a position or we do not, and and let you know how it went. So thank you again for being here with
Well,
us.
thank you again for having me. I
Bye.
loved talking to you.
Thank you. Bye.